Today I want to talk to you about a TV series, Scream, the TV series from MTV. Um, Now, it was long, Netflix had it a long time. Now, I don't know if a lot of people seen it or know about it or heard about it and think, oh, MTV, you've got, it's PG-13 on the nudity, on the language, but it's R rated on the gore. I have to say, Scream season 1, especially season 2, is really gory. Really, really gory. In season 1, 2, they're like, the killer's not only using a buck knife, but like traps like sawed. You see in Saw, where this chainsaw goes through somebody's head like this, and it gets split open, and her head is being chopped off and thrown to somebody. You got a few slashes, of course, but you also got a sight killing, where somebody's hanging on his feet and his sight from groin to face, all the innards are hanging out. So it's pretty bloody. It's a pretty bloody series. Of course, you get the actors, the typical MTV actors, the beautiful girls. You get the beautiful boys. Then you've got the the two nerds, and like, for example, who plays one of the nerds is John didn't put all the names on it because there's too many characters. John Canna, because I wanted to talk about season 1 and 2. It's called Noah Foster and Bex Taylor Claus, Audrey Jensen, and she's the goth chick, but she loves horror, and Noah loves horror too, especially like serial killers and things like that, and the motives. And he says a slasher TV series. He's in a class with a teacher called Seth Branson, and he's starting a slasher movie, a slasher series that can't happen, because in a slasher movie everything is going real fast. The killer kills somebody, and they start to know about a killer, and it happens fast. In a series, it has to be drawn out. Characters has to be fleshed out and things like that. And he's always doing these cool monologues about why a slasher and the MOs and the reasons, and it's cool. It's cool. And Willa Fitzgerald is the main lead sort of girl. They're all sort of the main leads, but she's called Emma Duval. Like I said, you got her, Bex Taylor Claus, also Audrey Jensen, and also one of the leads, John Carna, Noah Foster. Then you got Carlson Young, who plays Brooke Maddox, also one of the main characters. Because at the end, of course, when the killer, I'm not gonna spoil the killers because I want you to see that for yourself. There are, of course, two killers like in every Scream movie, because in the first movie one killer dies, and at that point Noah says, so you already know he survives the first season. That's a small spoiler. Ah, the because it has some comparisons to Scream, like Woodsboro. This is Lakewood, so suburban life from rich people, and everybody's living in these mansions. but he calls the survivors the six. You know, not, he gives them a number. But he's completely. He knows there's an accomplice that was with the first killer, and he knows he's still out there, or she, or he, him. Does not one or him or her, and he has this podcast and this radio. I mean, these boards, and then you've got Jake, who's also one of the friends. Jake Fitzgerald, he's a jock. Uh, you've got Will Belmont, they're friends, sort of. He's also a jock. The basket team from the. But they're basically, there's a subplot that they're shaking down the Mayor Maddox, who's the father of Brooke Maddox, because there's a little film that he's dragging something in a carpet out of the car, what looks like a body. Eventually, he can explain who that was, and that it was a OD guy that already died, and that he wanted to dispose of because his wife was addicted to drugs, and his wife was in the same room with the guy and with the dealer, and he he's a politician. He doesn't want to be surrounded with these things. He wants to keep it on the low side. Because he wants to be mayor again. Okay, re-elected again. You have Sheriff in this first season one. You've got Sheriff Clark Hudson, and then the father of Kieran Wilcox. He's also the sexy boy, the rebel sexy boy, the typical MTV real rebel. Yeah. You've got Sheriff DaCosta, who is the sheriff in the second season, so you can already guess what happens with Sheriff Hudson. There are a few spoilers here and there, of course, that I'm telling you. But the thing is, the movie is I'm gonna say, because it's gonna take too long to explain everything. This movie is really good. The acting is sometimes MTV-ish, but the kills are good. But the acting isn't that bad. The voice of the killer, it's a different voice. So every scream, in screaming, they have this regular actor that they use to voice the. No, it's not voice modulator. It's a real actor's voice, and here they use another guy's voice, and it's somewhat similar, but he's very like dramatic. He's like, "Oh, how's it going, Emma? You want some help?" Like this. He talks like this, and in the beginning it's a little bit irritating, but you get used to it. So that's something you gotta. Also, the mask. That's also a thing. The mask. They couldn't get the rights for the mask, for the ghost face mask, so they made a sort of surgical mask that looks like, so also, but with the same costume, like black hoodie and black cloak, but they make what they call the James Brandon mask. James Brandon was an elephant man, deformed, and that was a surgical mask that he had to wear. And it looks a little bit, it's a combination almost between Ghostface and Jason Voorhees mask. So, but it's pretty cool. I like it. I kind of like it. In the beginning, it's weird, but then you start to, okay, it's not bad, but I can tell you this, with all the cool kills, there are a lot of cool kills, or a lot of atmospheric, tense episodes. The acting isn't bad, really. It isn't bad. Okay, like Brooke Maddox, she's the typical blonde, and she's having an affair. I mean, affair, a hookup with the teacher, where Noah is talking about horror, Sid Branson, but he's a creep. But she enjoys the fact that he's a creep. But eventually he gets caught for being a creep, and but they assume he's a killer. Maybe. Um, there are a lot of people that can be the killer. You have Piper Shaw, who's a podcast for like murder thing. So she goes to the town where, of course, the in the beginning, kids. It starts with people getting killed, right? So a guy and a girl. The guy's head gets chopped off, and she's texting with him. And she's in the bubble bath with her bikini, trying to seduce him. Now, where are you then? He says, heads up, and then flies in the water, and she goes, oh. And the killer comes and slashes her in the back, and then slashes her neck over, and the blood is squirting out like this. Like I said, it's really, it makes up for all the PG stuff. It makes up for the R-rated gore stuff. So it's pretty cool, and I think most of the things, the kills are practical. So it's pretty cool. It's really pretty cool. Um, but what's kind of so the city had a history with James Brandon. He was this deformed kid, and the mom from Emma, Maggie Duvall, is the coroner for the sheriff. She was friends with him, and they hooked up also at some point. She actually cheated her boyfriend with him for one night, because he was comforted. They had a fight, and in a bowling alley where she worked, and he worked there too, and they had a she he cared for her, and she thought it was so sweet, and one thing led to another, and bum, ching, bum, chiki, bang, bang, right? And eventually, one thing leads to another, and they have sex. Now, Brandon James, what he did was, because he confronts Emma with his true feelings. I mean Maggie, sorry. Uh, some of the jocks see this and think she's he's threatening threatening her, harassing her, and he gets fucked up by these guys. Then they all get killed at one night. They all get killed, like eight people. The only one who survived is, of course, Maggie and Maggie's boyfriend, which is Emma's dad. He survived too, but he comes back in season one, and then mostly in season two for a few episodes. But Maggie doesn't want him there because he was drunk. He became a drunk. He became abusive, and he couldn't handle the fact that he had an affair with him. The fact that he, you know, that she did that to him, but he wasn't good to her too, and but he started drinking, and one thing comes to another, and the relationship just gets fucked up, right? Um, yeah, the thing is, the first season, the first killer gets killed. Not saying who. Second season is the accomplice. Now, here comes the fucked up part, and that's where I'm gonna rant over a little bit. I like this series very much. I'm not a fanboy, but I'm a fanboy of the first two seasons. There are three seasons, but the third season has nothing to do with anything what happened with in Lakewood. It ends with like five, six, seven cliffhangers. One is that they think Brandon James, because Brandon James wasn't at the end. He was shot in the shoulders, and DaCosta, when he was young, and Maggie saved him out of the water and kept him somewhere close and buried the knife that he was carrying. Then they find the knife sticking into a tree with a heart, so she knows he's back again. Then you have Brandon James' brother, who appears in a motel, and she says, "Welcome, Mr. Mr. Brandon, Mr. James, or Mr. Brandon, yeah, something like that." So he could be possible. He could be probably because Brandon James wasn't the killer, probably from that one night massacre. It could be his brother Troy Barnes. So Brandon Barnes couldn't. He wasn't a killer type. He was really sweet and sensitive. So the brother could be the killer because he hated how they treated him, his brother. So he's then in town. Then you see the father of Emma watching the grave of Brandon James, and and of, yeah, and the kill no and from Brandon James, or the killer from the first movie, the the the, the the burial stone, um, and they make the last episode a Halloween special with a new killer from one episode with a scarecrow, a mask, and things like that. Um, and at some point, the killer calls her, calls Emma, that it isn't over yet, and she's like, "What the fuck?" Because the second killer is caught. He's not killed, but caught by the police. All right, but in jail, the killer says he's hanging on his jail cell above him, and he says he jumps off, breaks the guard's head completely 160, and he says, "Who gave you the right to wear my mask?" He gets out. He gets him out. He takes his cuffs off, and he says, "Why are you helping me?" Then he takes the cuffs and slashes his neck over with the cuffs. So there's still a killer, a third killer. So it's and the reason why they stopped is because they didn't have enough views. Fuck. They could easily made a season with the season had 10 or 12 episodes each. They could easily made a season with six, maybe 4 episodes to wrap everything around, right? To wrap everything around, but no, they stopped it. And what happened is they made a third season, and the fun part is this happens to be on the battleground of Detroit. So we've got Scream 6 in Manhattan, but the season 3 of the MTV series was the first to take Scream in the city, and they got the rights to get the Ghostface mask. So this series, the Ghostface mask is carried. The original mask is carried, but I don't give a fuck. I didn't like it. You have and I'm not a racist. I mean, but the, who was Mia Khalifa? Who was the director? A rapper, a rapster. Yeah, and she couldn't direct, and it was bad, and acting wasn't good, and it was this diverse crew from black people to Latin people to Chinese people, Asian people. I mean, and I don't have a problem with that, but they laid it on thick, so on thick on that it became a thing in the movie, racism and shit. And oh fuck, man, fuck. It's really bad. I didn't like it. Tony Todd is in it, Candyman, as a actor de présence, but I really don't like it. I really don't like it. They should have just ended. I mean, the four or five cliffhangers in the second season of that's what I'm already warning you of. If you see Scream season 1 and 2, and you're you, you like it and you're engaged, you're gonna be really getting blue balls or be disappointed at the end of season 2, because they just say, fuck it, we're done. No, you're not done. 5 fucking cliffhangers. There's a story to be told. Who the fuck was that other Ghostface killer in the jail who killed the other the face killer? I mean, it's all over the place. Oh, Jesus Christ. I actually, and I still watch it today because I like. It's actually one of my favorite Scream adaptations. Okay, it didn't have the original mask, but the gore. It's like I said, Scream kills are repetitive kills, right? I just did Scream 3, but that movie was normally rated R, and Matthew Lillard would be the killer, and it would be more visceral. But they had to rewrite things because there was a shooting that happened in America, and they didn't want to put something bloody out there at that time, so they all postponed it, and Matthew Lillard couldn't do it then, and of course the movie became making a slasher PG-13. That's just although in the 70s you could look at Jaws. I mean, Quint getting fucking mauled in half, and he's throwing up. You hear him, the jaws cracking his bones, and he's chomped in half, and his blood spewing. I mean, the guy is getting ripped to pieces, and his leg is. That's PG-13, but maybe back then the MPAA were less. I'm not sure, but fuck, man, this Scream 3. This really is super R-rated stuff. The kills here are super R-rated, and there are a few sad moments because, like, Noah finds in every season he finds a girlfriend that he likes, and he's the shy type. He's the virgin. He's the he's us, the reviewer. He finds he almost has sex with her, but she gets a call, she gets killed, and she calls Noah, and she's saying something about we can see the stars, and they were seeing the stars at this football field and having some drinks and being lovely with each other. And he's super, sad and angry at the police because she was still at the police station. So how the fuck that happens, right? Then the second girlfriend in the second season gets also killed. He is buried at the same time with the girlfriend, and they have to choose who they rescue, but they don't know who's in one box. So they get to Noah, who's been just stabbed one time, not deadly, and they find the other, and she's called Zoe Vaughn. She, of course, put had a video camera in it, and she was saying, "Noah, I love you, London." That also sad. So it's an engaging story. It's a good story. But then fucking you, giving you the big bill. Jesus. They could have easily just ended it with a third season with 4 episodes. 4 episodes or 15-minute episodes or something like that. Right? Like they did with Game of Thrones. They ended it with six episodes of 1 hour and a half each. That's pretty bad. Yeah. Pretty disappointing. But okay. They ended it shortly because I think they were tired of it. But here they could have done it too, but they didn't. I think they just. But the fact that they give money to, I don't know the raps. She's a rapper. She's an actress. I think Mia Khalifa or something. No, I'm not sure what her name is. If I see the name, yeah, she gets the fucking money and even the rights for the mask to make a complete season 3 and overall, and they're suspecting you to like that because they're going back to the roots with the real ghost mask and whoa. No, we don't want that. We want to see what happens, what all these climaxes were in the season 2. And if you want to make that season 3, because they had the money to basically make a third season, just Jesus fucking Christ. I hate. Okay, it is what it is, right? Studio executives, sons of bitches, fucking assholes, you piece of shit. Ah. Sometimes you really have to rant a little bit, so side tangent, sorry. So, but conclusion, good actors, even if MTV, good actors, find an MTV style of acting sometimes in there too, but at the point when things get serious, the acting becomes good. Pretty cool gore. Different weapons are used. The killer doesn't only use the buck knife. Interesting killers. I didn't know who the second was, but I did know who the first one was. But so yeah, they hit the second killer well. Just good times. So watch it, give it a try. If you really don't like it, I get it because it's MTV. There is this MTV-ish, with pop music and bubblegum pop music or what they call it, and but Yeah, and like I said, the language barrier is frack is fuck, basically. uh, Crap is shit. So they they can use the f bombs and the shit bombs and things like that. But if you're invested in a good story and it has some good tension, some good atmosphere, some cool settings, this is a cool killer, then you should be happy, right? So give it a try. Let me know. Give it a like if you like it. And maybe subscribe so we have more people that can see my reviews. I would appreciate that. I will mention that. Um, it's free, it's non-profit, it's just for fun. I'm doing this just for fun. Same-minded people, right? Looking for the same-minded people to debate over in the comments and things like that. Uh, I can be wrong sometimes, and sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm not wrong. I'm not perfect. It's just an opinion. I am one guy's opinion about this series. So this series gets a thumbs up from me. So give it a try. I'll see you next time.